Welcome to Casual Babble.
Hey, it's your boy, BC Babble.
This conversation could get a little
Now,
weird.
I'm not trying to say that I'm a nerd, but we are definitely about to get our nerd on, so...
This is Casual Babble.
Well, hello, you beautiful individual. This is Casual Babble. This is BC Babbles, and I'm joined in the studio today by actually a very recent new acquaintance of mine. Please welcome Sam Assael
Hi.
to the studio.
So thankful to be here.
Yes, and please, did I pronounce it correctly?
Yes, you did. I was going to make a point of that. No one ever says my last name correctly. You got it on the first shot.
Someone said it correctly a couple days ago, and I tried to make a point to lock it in. So when it came down to this, I was like, I'm saying her damn last name.
Yes.
It's going to be correct.
Attention to detail.
It's going to be correct.
Thank you so much.
So Sam and I recently met as I just got a new job with Town Square Interactive in Charlotte, and we are still trainee digital marketing specialists for two different teams. I'm national, she's market. We're not going to hate each other too quickly. We'll let the rivalry build until we can't contain it no more. So let's talk about training so far. What are our feelings and thoughts about, well, first of all, classroom training. I don't know about you. I was never a lecture student, and I love Taylor, who's been training us. But I was fighting drowsiness so hard so many times. I love her so much, but I was like, I hope I looked on the front to be pretty aware, but the battle hiding behind these peepers was real. Right. It was a real life and death battle back here.
Absolutely. So surprisingly, I am the inverse. While I like to do things that are hands-on and proactive, this is so wildly different from what I was doing before. So in classroom training, I felt that I was in a space where all I had to do was listen. And while that can be very monotonous and frustrating, I was like, I'm where I'm supposed to be. Now, currently, being on the floor, I am also where I'm supposed to be. It's just more overwhelming. But I understand the drowsiness aspect.
Oh, my God.
100%.
Oh, my God. I noticed you've been mentioning recently that you've not been sleeping properly either.
No.
I haven't had a good regimen of sleep in a while, and it's just catching back up to me now, but you were talking about it too.
Yes. And so I'm 25 years old. It's a little bit embarrassing that I'm at the point in my life where just now I'm realizing why sleep is important.
Yes.
Not why it's important, but how important it has the capacity to be.
Yeah.
So not having slept well for 2 or 3 nights back to back, I feel like my brain is just eroding in front of everybody.
Right.
And it's exactly. So in classroom training, that was a little bit more concealable. And now it has become very apparent to me that no, I have to be well rested. I have to be on top of it.
Because even now that we're on the floor and we're doing teams trainings.
Yes, it's very closely monitored, and we have all the help we need, which is such a blessing. Oh my God.
And I'm actually kind of banking on the fact that the quality of the video isn't super great, and we're not looking at each other because I'm still kind of fighting it. And so I've been in regards to sleep, I've been in tough situations before. So not too recent, but I didn't realize I was not sleeping well at night because I kept waking up and going back to sleep. I didn't realize. The drowsy hit me usually when I was behind the wheel. Oh yeah.
The worst possible place that you could get sleepy.
The two of the worst times it occurred. And I've never been so scared in my life at points when I'm going home. And I told you before, that one fight was real, but that was kind of comical when I said that. Right. This, though, was literally me gripping the steering wheel so tight and me biting my tongue, my lip, even biting hard on my nails and my fingers to stay awake, and knowing that my body was forcing me to close my eyes. The worst things that happened so far was, and I laugh now because it's retrospect, but I woke back up going into an intersection when I did not have right of way.
Oh, no.
And then I woke back up going home as I was entering those poles that divide the tollway and the regular lanes.
Yep. And
it knocked my side view mirror off the car.
I have had that same thing happen, not due to drowsiness.
Right.
I wear glasses when I drive. That drive, I wasn't wearing my glasses, and by knocking off my side mirror, I was reminded why I'm supposed to wear my glasses.
Yeah. And funny enough, when that happened, you would think the shock would I'm awake.
Yeah. Just
No, it
reset you.
lasted like 30 seconds and the drowsiness came back. Thankfully, I wasn't far from home, but like when we tell you the importance of sleep, I'm 28, going to be 29 in a couple months. It's important.
It only takes one incident.
It really
to
does.
really flip you.
The fact that I didn't crash as many times as I honestly should have is still a miracle to me. Like, I should not be here, y'all. I really shouldn't. But I am. And I'm going to take it in stride because I now sleep better. I went to a doctor, figured out like I have like 20 pillows on my bed now so that I can prop my head up. You know, and as I lose weight, it'll get easier. But for now, my head kind of needs to be propped, so I do sleep regularly. Yeah.
Proper sleep is, it truly is the make or break.
Uh-huh.
I've realized that through, all right, my last job I had for 4 years.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, 3 and some change, probably 3.5.
Yeah.
The first, basically up until quarantine. I was working in the healthcare industry, not on the front lines, but I was billing people's health insurance.
Sure. Yeah.
So working in an office, when I was in that office environment, I had that structure. It was normal for the most part. And then we transitioned to working from home. And oh my goodness, when I tell you how important discipline is.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't make you boring. It is so necessary.
Mm-hmm.
So having basically, I would use the term sleepwalking.
Yeah.
Through the past 2 years of my professional life, getting back to having that structure and in a very high-paced environment, like Town Square is pretty high-paced.
There's a lot going on.
So I've noticed, coming from polar opposite environments, it has been like, oh my goodness, I haven't been sleeping well. And the reason why I didn't notice is because I was so comfortable working from home.
Mm-hmm.
Working from home will give you that range to not have that discipline.
Yeah.
And that is, while it's happening, it's a blessing. When you leave it, it is so dangerous.
You miss it.
Oh my God.
Definitely miss it.
I miss it for some reasons and others not. Like,
okay.
To have that structure again, I needed it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right, sleep deprivation is not good in any sense.
Sure.
When you are in an environment that can blend that in to make it seem not so unhealthy, you don't notice it.
Right.
The past 3 weeks, I've had so many self-actualizations about how I've been living and my habits, going to bed at 2:30 in the morning. That's not healthy.
Yeah.
I know better than that. But once upon a time, as of, a month ago, it didn't matter because I could still perform my job well enough from the comfort of my home. Now things are different.
Yeah. And coming out of, I was in an office environment before this job, and I'm finding that even though technically I have a whole other hour, I still wake up at the same time. But whereas my last job started at 7:30, and this job, when it's in full swing, once we're out of training, will be 8:30.
Yeah.
I need to not take that hour. I really don't. Because I don't know what it is, but I can wake up at 6 o'clock, and I know that all I have to do is put clothes on, and I still won't be out of the house until like 7:05. And it's literally almost like I blink. Even if I put the effort into not looking at TikTok for who knows how many minutes or what, I'll still not be able to leave the house until an hour after I wake up. And then I hit that 77 traffic, and it's like I'm paying so much right back now on tolls. I just can't get in the tolls
on
again.
77 are unreal.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
they are
bullshit.
complete bullshit.
I didn't even realize that southern states had tolls.
Yeah.
The only places that I've seen tolls are in New York, New Jersey, where my family is.
See, and then back in the day when my family and I used to drive back up to Illinois to see family up there too.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going from different regions of the country.
Exactly. But going from between two counties, and by the way,
even if you don't leave the county, you still pay a toll the second you get on 77.
Bullshit. By the way, Iredell and Mecklenburg governings, 85, which is also like four lane, sometimes a 6-lane interstate. I don't see no tolls there. I'm not sure why 77 had to have the tolls.
Only 77. I've noticed that too.
I don't know why.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't tell you.
And the way he's like, so I paid attention this morning because another coworker of ours asked me a question yesterday about, no, it wasn't Cole. It was someone who's going to be on my main team asking me about the prices. And I was like, well, the first hole that I could hit coming to work in the morning during rush hour is $3.50 a pop. Sorry, no. I looked this morning, $3.79 a pop.
I'm sorry.
And it only gets down to like $2.50-ish by the time you get to either Gilead or 485. Yeah.
That is an absurd amount of money.
It is.
Paying a toll, all you're doing is just paying money to continue driving your car.
Right.
It's like paying for parking. You're paying for the opportunity to not drive your car.
Exactly. So, but anyway, that's why I need to not take that extra hour because I want to use the tolls, but I can't because I'm paying it back right now. But I will say, so back to the training though, classroom, I'm not a great lecture student, never was, never will be. I've accepted that about myself. It's just the fact of life that I am living. But now we're on the floor. We're in that kind of bustling energy, though we're still kind of detached from the main sequencing of the energy, which is good because I'm not sure I'm ready for it full on yet. Though I'm excited. I like my team. I've said this many times at work. I love my team. I love my training team, but I love the team that I'm going to be on after training. I love it so much. But so with our job, with us being, and I still call it, and I think Taylor at one point mentioned like it shouldn't just be called that, but client retention.
That is the crux of the job title.
Yeah,
truly.
And like cancels, man. So part of our job is learning how to handle objections, like why people don't want to be on with us anymore.
First proposed cancel today.
I heard you talking about that. Let delve into it.
All right.
Don't have to drop the name or like the business.
No, of course not. All right. There is a business based out in North Dakota. Do we know if the Dakotas are real states? I have yet to believe it. Whatever. Allegedly lives in North Dakota. So the person who was currently training us, so we had Taylor and now we have a girl named Emily.
Yeah.
She trickled down some of her clients to me and another coworker because we are in the same subset of being a digital marketing specialist. Mm-hmm. I inherited one of her clients and I reached out to her for the first time today to introduce myself. Hey, my name's Samantha. I'm going to be your digital marketing specialist going forward.
Yeah.
And what I was greeted with was it's basically, I don't remember exactly what she said, but it was like, it was about time I've heard from you. I don't know what you mean. I looked over the case notes for your campaign, and what it sounds like is that the previous DMS, digital marketing specialist, who has been on your campaign for over a year, anytime that she has attempted to contact you, it's your business that doesn't answer.
Yeah.
So what I heard from said business in Bismarck, North Dakota, was that she had been reaching out and never heard back from us.
Yeah. You kept saying
so
like there was
everything was getting lost in translation. So what I would be moved to believe, I mean, unless someone is telling a very strong dishonesty, is that there's got to be false contact information. But at the same time, if you are getting in touch with either the wrong person or no one at all, and you're investing hundreds of dollars in this service every month,
right?
You have to wonder, do I have the right phone number?
Exactly.
But also, she had Emily's name. She knew who that was. So if you're looking at an email and it's not first name dot last name at Town Square Interactive, you have to wonder.
Right.
So I have been just inheriting her campaign. Well, so it came on to me yesterday. I didn't see it until today. To have inherited that today and to be told, it's about time I've heard from you, I'm slashing our services with you.
Yeah.
This is awkward.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And it's not dissatisfaction with what you've seen. It's what you haven't seen.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I am going to being in this field for 2.5 weeks at this point, I'm going to do my damnedest to recover what you feel you have been missing or how you've been misled. But at the same time, what I was told from my mentor is not what you're telling me. So I am confused as to what the real story is.
See, and I'm having a lot of those moments too where it's like I'm coming on to these situations. Some of them are pretty young. One of my new clients that I got yesterday has only been with us for a month.
Okay. Fresh. Month. Very fresh.
Volatile. So volatile is what we call any client who has either concerns about our services or who wants to cancel, yada, yada.
Anyone who's at risk.
This man was like if I had like a radar trying to scan him, it would have been going boop, 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 boop. Like it was picking up ratings, right? This guy was volatile this morning. And it's like, I'm looking at over this person's campaign and I'm like, and he's everything he's telling me is correct. So it's like every concern he has, every reason he's upset is legit because I'm saying this directory isn't filled out, this listing isn't filled out, this wasn't done. I see that he spoke to this other person and it wasn't done. And so it's like, and I kind of departed from script because we do have some things to help us figure out how to talk and walk our way through a conversation.
You're allowed to do that, though.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that's what was holding me back last week because I didn't know how far I could depart from the script. And I was like, hey, look, I cannot speak for this person. I know you've dropped his name several times. I don't know what the discourse was there, why there's a dissonance between what you requested and what was clearly not taken care of. Granted, you've been with us for a month. So, and I had to reiterate, like, look, this company, this is how we do things, and it requires a time investment.
Exactly.
And we have to make sure this organically builds because, first of all, we're trying to be friends with Google, and nothing happens overnight that's not going to stick for a long time.
Exactly. And Google doesn't recognize tone or body language. All it is content, figures, numbers.
And it has to be paced with whenever Google decides to recheck or re-index something.
It's all on an algorithm.
Exactly.
This is completely robotic.
So the fact that, you are X amount of dollars kind of in, having been with us for a month.
Yes.
But nothing's been provided enough time to actually even happen yet. Granted, when I looked at his stuff and it was like, yeah, you know what, this stuff was not taken care of. And I don't know why it wasn't. I would like to ask the person who was working with him last month why this wasn't taken care of, because literally put one address in one place, he was on 30 directories in 2 seconds. Literally. Like you couldn't have done that.
Fix.
It's such an easy fix. And it's like, and the hard part was like, okay, I got to take this like person who's like high ratings right now and like bring him down. Like, look, I can't speak to why this wasn't done like that before. I'm here for you now. Here's what I've done for you. Here's what's already happened that's changed for you. He still kind of wants to cancel, but we're going to feel him out. I think he was brought way down by the time our conversation was over, which I appreciate. But damn, you inherit those situations and it's like, you don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but it's like, that wasn't my fault.
I almost did that today.
It's like,
it is so hard to not mention, hey, person who was in charge of this campaign before me did X, Y, and Z and didn't do X, Y, and Z. Like it is such a fine line teetering on good customer service while also like, okay, but what really happened? Let me get the full recount of events.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's if that person hasn't left the company.
Exactly. And then if they have, you'll never get in touch with them.
Like I literally cannot find out why, because the person who could tell me why, and if that's if they were paying attention, is not reachable.
Also, to piggyback off your point of Guy only having been with us for a month, we do our best to set reasonable expectations with people and tell them you are most likely not going to see results for 3 to 4 months. Right.
So what I should have probably thought in that moment when I looked at like a month, that because they only launched their campaign back on the 11th of April, was I should probably talk to the person who sold him his package. It's like, clearly he's expecting something that's not going to happen. Like, God.
Was that idealized in your mind, or did somebody at our company promise you that?
Exactly. And this kind of goes back to when we were learning about the relationship between the sales and us. And I think I've only said this like once at this point, but like in the future, if I ever get like somebody new who's like, I'm looking forward to being like top dog in my market and like 10 other markets in 3 weeks, it's not about how I would feel. What I'm going to be doing is looking for that return to sender button, because someone can try that again.
Yep.
Send it back to me repackaged with better wrapping, please, because this is just not going to work out.
Exactly.
That won't happen.
Yeah. The entire point of client retention is that there's a relationship in the first place.
Exactly.
While I am here to serve you, so to speak, you are the one giving funds so that I can do my job and better serve you. It's equal give and take. You have to give me things to work with. And if your expectations aren't reasonable, I am going to let you know, because in the event that I don't, you're going to be gravely disappointed. So, of course, I'm going to tell you things that are hard to hear.
Right. Yeah. We have to be realistic. And I mean, I will say, as hard as that conversation was today, because I did not go into today with the preparation for a second cancel. was that at least he wasn't going off as much as I've heard other clients go off on people.
Yes.
And I will say one of the reasons I was so excited to get the team that I got for post-training was that I'm like, oh my God, this is the team that curses people out. But it's because again, I will drop no names or like location or like anything, but this person, and I could hear him from the other side of the aisle that I was shadowing. It's like, you're so, like, what could have happened to bring you to the point where you are audibly, for me, I can hear you cursing out this coworker the way that you are. And for that person to legit say it like, are you going to let me answer your questions? Exactly. Or are you just going to keep bitching about it? Yeah. Like when he dropped the B word, I was like, oh my God, I love this. And coming from, I don't know about you, but I'm very much like, whoever said customers always right can kiss my ass.
Oh my God. The customer deserves a chance to be heard.
Sure.
But
yes.
But I will say there has never been a subcategory of human that is more wrong than the customer.
And that's the kind of person I am, but we're in a position where it's like, we have to hold that back. Hold it back.
We will hold it back. And sometimes the customer has reasonable alibis for having been upset.
Yes.
Sometimes it's completely reasonable, but we also do have a log of all the calls and the emails that we've sent you. So if you're saying, I've never heard from you in the 6 months I've been with you, I have a data log to prove that is incorrect. I cannot tell you that.
Yes.
That would be bad customer service.
Right.
However, I'm having this conversation with you and conducting it from a standpoint of, no, I have data that shows that we have tried to reach out to you. Sometimes you've even answered.
Yes.
So you are not pulling the wool over my eyes as cleanly as you would like to believe.
No, you're not. But that's part of the job. It is. Roughly. And to be honest, though, I never thought I would see myself in this kind of career position because I've always been told I'm not going to be a cubicle person. I'm not. I've always been told, like, you do not want to be. But at the same time, and I'm like here, and I'm like, you know what? I don't mind it. And it really is probably just the people in the environment. I'm loving the vibe.
Me too. And there's something to be said about if you do something for long enough, eventually you're going to outgrow it, unless it is truly your calling or your passion.
Yeah.
We are all finding that. I'm only 25. I am still yearning to find whatever that calling is for me.
Yeah.
But, hey, we are fresh to this. There are people who have been with Town Square for 3 years, and they're like, I've grown a little bit tired of it. I want to work from home.
Yeah.
Okay. Meanwhile, I'm the inverse of that. I worked from home for, 2 years, 3 months. Mm-hmm. I am so insanely sick of it. Like, I will do anything to be around people again.
Yes.
So, similar to you, I'm like, I love the energy.
Yes.
I am so thankful that I get to come into work and see people again.
And,
like, good people, not people who are grumpy.
Right.
Don't care about what's going on with you.
Right.
We are truly blessed with a work environment that not everybody has.
And that's one thing I noticed, too, is, like, people are coming in excited for work.
Yes.
And I've been
not excited to work, but excited to be there.
To be there, yeah. Yes. And even plenty of them are like, yeah, I'm ready. Let's do some shit today. But like, I had none of the positions I've been at before. Well, the last one was kind of like that, but like before that, iHeartMedia, the one nonprofit I was working for, another company was like, I didn't see that there, really. Especially for the departments that I was working in, like they just didn't have that.
There are some people who show up to their job for the sake of just paying the bills and that's it.
Yeah.
And truthfully, objectively speaking, there isn't anything inherently wrong with that. We all have an obligation to work or to fulfill our way of living somehow.
Yeah.
So in the event that you do go into work and it's just for the sake of I'm going to put in my 8 hours or whatever your time frame is,
right?
Pay my bills and that's it. You're not doing anything wrong,
right?
Technically. However, there is a very stark difference from people who do that and people who want to be in community when they're at work.
Right.
And there are people like you and I who crave that kind of community in the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
And it is such a blessing to see that again.
Right.
Oh my God.
And granted, even the work itself, it's going to have its challenges, but I'm pretty excited for it. But yeah, just having that combo is what I need for a while. It's a
challenge, not a detriment.
Right. Yeah.
Truly.
And I welcome the challenges that are naturally associated with the kind of work that I like to do.
Exactly.
I'm down for that.
And kind of like we've been told by our predecessors, like Taylor would be a great example. when she came into the business, she didn't know jack shit about digital marketing.
Sure.
And now she's a corporate trainer.
Yeah.
Like there will be challenges, but you will overcome them. We have all started from basically nothing. I mean, unless you were in digital marketing beforehand, you don't know anything.
Yeah.
So it is such a relief and a comfort to hear people being like, oh, I was just as confused as you were, if not more. And now I'm where I am. We are surrounded by so many people who want to help us.
Yes.
It is such a blessing.
Yes.
Oh my God.
The habits I'm learning right now, and this is going back to like the logs of our interactions, like that I think so far is one of the best habits I'm getting into, is like, no matter, even though I've had a couple points where it's like, God, I'm typing out another email. First of all, I probably need to find a time to like start creating like templates.
Right.
Because when you have so many like
rhetoric.
Exactly. Because like so many like intro emails, follow-up emails, which all for the most part are kind of verbatim for now. It's like, God, my fingers hurt. God, I know I got carpal tunnel at this point. But I'm happy with those habits that I'm being taught, because I know they're going to help me out so much in the future. But going back to the vibes real quick, I still love the vibe of the workspace, but I will say I'm noticing it's quite funny with the differences between the marketing specialists and then the creatives, because we're so talkative on our half of the room.
And
then
picked up on
over
this.
there, it's like, I'm not going to lie, it's kind of like, you know, in Lion King, when it's like they talk about that dark space, the dark place in the distance.
That is,
What's that
insert
dark
dark
place?
space here. You may never go there.
And that is, and I know people in the spaces, so, and I love them so much, but like, that's to me like SEO, content design,
Right.
because they're so quiet,
They're
they're focusing
reserved.
on the creative
We actually
aspect
had
of it.
somebody from our initial poll of new hires who was
Yes,
with web design.
exactly.
And anytime I've seen him, he is so kept to himself.
Uh-huh.
And which is fine.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
But
It's just like,
now I see what you mean.
Yes.
Using Nathaniel as an example, there's a stark difference between.
because think about
There
where
are
you,
people on the phones and there are people who aren't.
yes, and like think about like where you sit right now. Like think about like, imagine you're sitting there right now. You have sound over here. You don't have it behind you.
No.
You don't have it behind you.
Not
Whenever
even
that
a little
person
bit.
does walk past us, he's so put together. He's so quiet.
He's so put together.
But I will
He's
say,
married.
the first date,
I get it.
that boy looks too cute to be married that young. But
So
whatever.
cute.
Granted, another one of our DMS fellow DMSs is already married, and she's like right out the gate of college, so it's whatever.
Yeah, she's 22.
She's 22. God.
and she has a baby.
Oh my God, the baby's so
No,
cute.
props to her, and she will be
Yes.
on this show.
She will be on the show
Here
too.
in a bit.
She'll be coming up pretty soon.
Yep.
But yeah, just like I will say, the day that he departed us, went to lunch, he like had a click already. Like
Yeah,
he walked past
exactly.
me with like 3 or 4 people. I was like, oh, he's fine. He's so good.
Oh no, he's been
He's so
absorbed
good.
by his clique.
I do
which
like,
is great.
Yeah, I do like when like where does everyone else in our group go for lunch every day? Like, you guys disappear so quick.
So I hang out with the people in sales. One of the girls
You do
in
have a friend up
sales-
there, yes.
Yes, yeah. And then she indicted me into her new hire,
Aha.
and her new hire group. And they were like, oh, we've been wanting to meet more DMSs. So one of them is considering maybe sales isn't for me, but I do really like this company.
Yeah.
And I mentioned Cole. I was like, we did have somebody who was with sales for like, I don't know, 8 or 9 months.
Yeah.
Transferred to DMS and he's happier.
He loves it, yeah.
Those opportunities exist,
Yes.
right? Like there is room to move.
Mm-hmm.
We are always hiring people.
And that's another thing about Town Square is like, and this is not meant to be like a Town Square push episode, but
Yeah, we
there
sound
are
like
a
we are
lot of
simping for Town Square. We've only been there for 3 weeks.
yes, right, and but comparatively, so sorry, geez, I don't know why all this air is coming up so suddenly, but comparatively, is just so many positive aspects. Like I'm seeing people above me who actually, one, are telling me they want to see me evolve, but 2, and more importantly, I know they're going to push me to do it. Like,
They'll give
because
you all the tools you need.
yes. And instead of me being like led on like I was in previous jobs with no avail. But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of positive stuff to talk about with Town Square. So it's like, again, not a simping episode, but there's plenty to discuss.
Hey, based on as of tomorrow, it'll end week 3.
Yeah.
In the 3 weeks I've seen, I have felt and realized so much more from like what a workplace can provide than 4 years at my last job. There is a stark difference.
Yes. And you speak frequently on how you love being around people again.
Yes.
Because you were so over it before.
I crave community so much. I'm not
Yes.
the kind of person who can't be alone. It's
Yeah.
not like I am disturbed by my own company. But 40 hours a week is
Yeah.
a lot of time.
Yeah.
40 hours a week, every week for 2 years. Like, I was dying to be with people again. And the inverse of that, if anybody who's listening to this works from home, I don't know if you've experienced this. My personal recount of having worked from home for 2 years unexpectedly.
Yeah.
I didn't sign up for a remote position. That was never part of the deal.
Right. Yeah.
COVID was an unforeseen circumstance.
It really
and
was.
No one could have predicted it. But with me, I am so wildly extroverted. And I found myself like, well, I've been alone basically all day. I am seeking community in other places. Well, what is the number one social activity for adults? It's going out and drinking.
Right.
That is such an unsustainable lifestyle to do constantly. And I felt myself just playing catch up all the time, being like, I feel like shit.
Yeah.
I have to, recount, get myself together, stay in just to go out and do another 4-night run of it. That is so unsustainable. Whereas I could just have a job where I see people and I want to go home.
Yeah.
Working from home made me resent being at home. Home now represents work.
Yeah.
There's a reason why those environments are meant to be separate.
Yes, exactly.
And I didn't learn that until...
Because you get
I
no
don't know.
rest if they're the same place.
Exactly.
You're supposed to go home and relax.
Working from your bedroom is a special kind of hell. I did that for
Yes.
a week when our kitchen was being remodeled. And I realized, like, while this should be comfortable, it is so... No.
Yeah, no.
Never work from your bed.
No.
That is
no.
the best advice I can give to
Yeah,
anybody.
at the very least, if there's like a nook or something, some kind of office, you better move your butt over there because you will regret
Yes.
it later if you don't.
Exactly. And
Oh my
some
God.
people love working from home, and that's not wrong. I can
Yeah.
completely understand why somebody doesn't desire to have a commute or to be around a bunch of people that they might not feel they connect with. At Town Square, it's different.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are some office environments where you don't feel like you belong and you're just in a room of strangers. I am here to pay my bills, and then I go home and that's it. But like, for me personally, working from home, it worked until it didn't. Or
Yeah.
it worked as long as it had to.
Sure.
When we were in the thick of the pandemic, like primarily 2020, I would say from March 2020 is when we went remote. November of 2020 is when we learned that actually this thing we thought was going to be temporary, it's actually a permanent fix.
Yeah.
They're going to sell that office building, which truthfully allowed
Oh,
me
they
to
should
move.
have sold the office building.
Yes, they did.
Oh.
All right. So for context,
See, I thought it was like a chosen, like we'll just shut down for the meantime, but we'll keep this until.
that's what it was supposed to be.
Oh,
Yes.
so okay.
It was all right. So my previous job was based in Asheville, North Carolina, where I used to live. And if there's any silver lining to that having gone remote, it allowed me the opportunity to move and not re-seek employment.
Yeah.
So that was great in its own right. The idea was that it was going to be remote temporarily. And this is, early 2020, we had no idea what was going to become of COVID.
Right.
So, it was March 2020 till June 2020. June became September. September became October. October became January of 2021. And then in November, they were like, hey, actually, we have conducted business so efficiently without the operating costs of a building, so we're going to go remote permanently. And I told myself I'd stay with it for as long as it worked for me.
Yeah.
And then I hit a threshold of the lifestyle that I'm living is very unsustainable and I need something else.
Yeah.
And that's something else, that core component that was missing from my life was community.
Yeah.
So I was like, I have to find a job that has people who care about each other.
Yeah.
And I found it.
It feels really, really good.
So rewarding.
Yeah, I can't imagine being home quite that long because I got the Rona back in Thanksgiving of 2021, and I was home for 3 weeks. Granted, I had already gotten over the
That's a
whole.
long time to be out because of COVID.
Well,
I was out for 6 days.
The reason I was out that long is because my youngest brother got it first.
Oh.
And he just had to come home
You
while
all
he had it.
quarantined together.
Yes. And so it was kind of like he had it for a while, but as he drifted off, my brother got it. He drifted off, I got it. So because I was within the same space, it ended up being 3 weeks. So that sucked. And I had gotten over the very quaint idea of being home more than one day in a row all day when I was 13 or 14
Yeah.
during the summer vacation.
It works until it doesn't.
Not close enough to, and that's one of the things I hated worst about moving where we did in Mooresville is that we're not close enough to anything that I can just walk to and enjoy my day.
Exactly.
We're like 4 miles away from.
If you were within a proximity of a culture,
Yeah.
a lifestyle.
Yes.
You would have the availability to go to places, retreat back home.
Yes.
When home is all there is, it becomes a special kind of hell.
So when I got Rona and I was home for 3 weeks, I was like, I'm gonna be over this so fast. I'm gonna be so miserable, and I was. And thankfully, I tested positive. Thankfully, not positive, negative for COVID eventually, and was able to go back to work. But I was so irritated before then, and I hated it. I will say, as much as I enjoyed the vibe of our new job, the one thing I'm still getting used to is the fact that it's in the city.
Yes.
I don't recall if it's on my resume, but I did previously have a position as a concierge over
At which hotel?
concierge at a Hive-style apartment complex.
No kidding. Apartment complexes have concierge.
So the ones that we were, so funny enough, the one that was across the park from where we were at today.
No kidding.
Well, technically the one right next to it.
Yeah. On the other side of it.
One down that street.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Wow.
The Element.
Yes.
So I was
There was concierge there. They have like valet. Oh my God.
They don't have
right.
valet, but they have.
Maybe it's the one next to it.
I think the next one's a bit bougier.
Uptown Charlotte is just littered with complex.
Yes. And wait, why did I get into this?
You had a point.
I had a point, and then I went into it.
Pardon me, I keep interrupting you. I get invested in conversation, and I.
Well, no, I said something.
Shut out
I said something for your realization, and then I completely lost it. So, God, what were we talking about? I was like,
COVID. Living within proximity of what
people
you want to do. Yeah.
What
came after that?
For some reason, I wanted to mention what was it? Because we were talking about, gotcha. So, in the city job.
Yes.
That's what it was. There we go. We found it. We found the train tracks. Because I did have that job for a while, and if you want to know why I was fired from that job, you can watch like 2 episodes before this one. I was. I'm gonna let you.
No. I will listen.
Yeah.
Respectively.
So it's the episode with Tayflo. Sorry, so the last episode of the show. Watch it and you'll find out. But anyway, because I was over there, but I don't really consider that in the city because it's still over there by the Knight Stadium, by the park. It's very out in the open. Whereas like the new job, and I managed to get at a pretty nice parking spot in the deck behind the building, or behind the building, the next building over. And walking in that little tunnel from my parking deck out into South Trent, like,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, looking up. Those are some tall buildings. I feel like kind of like Ugly Betty right now. I'm about it. I'm still getting used to it though.
It gives you like a weird sense of ego. You're like, you look at the people around you. It is Suit City, right?
Oh yeah.
Like the culture that surrounds it. You're like, I'm one of you now.
Yes.
Yep.
Except I have these I'm wearing a really cheap polo.
Hey, I spent the past 2 years of my professional life working in track shorts and crop tops.
Hey,
It is so wildly.
I don't mind the polos, but one of the biggest things,
polos are fine. They count.
And I asked this question during the open house part of our interview process. Was like, so based on the pictures I'm seeing on your PowerPoint, we can wear denim. Is that true? And they said yes. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so getting this job. Thank God. Because as a concierge, I had to wear the whole shebang every day.
Full suit.
Over
tux.
It. The job I got after that, which is my previous job where I was heading communications for commercial real estate, still had to wear business pants, which I hated so much, but I was able to wear polos. So I didn't have to do the whole button-up shebang.
Right.
Thank God.
What is that? Business casual?
Yeah, basically. But now
it's presentable enough.
Yes, but
we
now
also do get casual Fridays.
Yeah,
love wearing a t-shirt.
But Cole's like casual every single day. Cole's pretty much
every day. He will wear shirts from schools that he did not go to, and people will be like, "Did you go to East Carolina?" No. UNCC. It's a little misleading.
Yeah,
I want him to listen to this episode so bad.
So bad.
We're both gonna send him the link.
I'll send him.
Hey,
I'm gonna send him a link. Hey man, you made the show a couple different times.
You made a cameo.
You made a cameo. Oh my God! But yeah, he's like. So what I'm looking forward to, first of all, is the first full paycheck.
Oh my God!
Because this last one was nice.
Last one was just 1 week. Next
But
one's
it
gonna
was
be 2.
But funny enough, so my pay rate, which tells me how inconsistent I was with actually. So my last job, and I hated this about this job, because this is my first. Because we're salary, right?
Yes. Yeah.
This is my first ever salary job. I've only ever been
too.
hourly before this, and so that job I learned with this half paycheck from this salary job how inconsistent I was getting those 40 hours in.
Oh my God. I noticed the same thing with my job. I was like, 1 week's worth of work from Town Square is not that much different from 2 weeks worth, allegedly.
Yeah.
2 weeks worth at my previous job.
Yeah. Well, and not quite that extreme, I will say, but that's quite a thing. We should touch on that in a bit.
We'll get to it.
But the fact that, like, if I doubled that, so by the time I left my last job, I had gotten a 4% raise from the holidays. So my rate was like 20 something an hour. And we're 19 something an hour with this job.
Right. It's like, I think 1923 when you break it down.
But like the fact that if I doubled the paycheck we just got, that it was more than what I was typically earning from each pay period at my last job. It's like, damn, I was really inconsistent with those hours.
Oh, what you mean is that you didn't keep a good track of your timesheet.
Well, no, I did. But like the time I was at work in between then and leaving, like I just wasn't there for the full 40 hours enough, or at
That's
least not
fair.
consistently.
Yeah. And
But
especially
now,
with like an hourly job, you clock in, clock out, clock in,
Right.
clock out. Anytime that you're off the premise. Whereas for us, our schedule, at least the past 3 weeks, has been so touch and go.
Oh, yeah.
Like today we left an hour earlier than usual, but they're like, you can mark it as 8 hours
And then when
for
we-
the day.
and-
even though it was only 7.
and looking at how busy we are, and at least of how I've been just as training with the few clients we have comparatively to how many we will have, like there's no question I'll be like probably here till like 6 o'clock sometimes.
I don't doubt that.
Zero question
those
about
days
it.
are going to come.
Yeah.
And granted, they did say that the reason why we are salaried legally, but we are told what our hourly rate would be in the event that you have to clock in overtime. So we
Yeah.
will get compensated accordingly. However, amassing that full book of business, I mean, hearing people like Carly, for example.
Oh my
who
God.
340 clients.
Oh my
You must
God.
be out of your mind.
Carly and
I
then
am-
Chi-Chi?
I am, yeah, Chi-Chi,
Oh my
who
God.
has more than her. And I am shuddering at the idea of like, I'm going to get to 200. Holy.
Yeah. And how much of a demand some of my clients already are.
I know.
Granted, so the difference between me and Sam right now is that she is market. So she's going to handle clients who are in small to medium markets where we actually have physical salespeople, right?
Yep.
I'm
But I
national.
will have more of them.
Right. So
Whereas-
national people can amass more clients than my side, which is national. And that simply means that the people, my clients, don't have a physical person in their area. They've spoken to people who are like on the floor above us, who are the salespeople. And I will never get 300 nothing in my book.
No.
But I mean, I might get 200. I guess that's
Yeah.
an extreme number for a national, which is like, damn.
My cap, I would say, and I can't speak for myself yet because like I have, I think 44 in my
Right.
book right now. I feel overwhelmed, and I know why that is. It's because I'm still learning the ropes. It is so wildly different from what I
Sure,
was doing
yeah.
before. So of course I feel overwhelmed. I'm trying not to be hard on myself about it. However, my cap, I would imagine, is like 220.
Yeah.
Like I'm sorry, I can't take more.
Yeah.
In the event that you give me more, I will not provide good customer service. You don't want that from me.
Yeah, sure. And granted, we are saying that only almost 3 full weeks into training. Our skills yet are not pristine and like
Not
clear
even
cut
a
yet.
little bit.
We're
And-
not Taylor level yet.
Exactly. And
So-
people like Taylor even say, hey, I've been here for, insert amount of years here.
Yeah.
I'm learning every day.
Yeah.
You continue as you go, which is a beautiful testament to how like there are dead end jobs that you know from the jump are dead end, and then there is a career trajectory.
Oh yeah.
So having that inspiration in front of us being like,
Mm-hmm.
I started where you are, I felt confused, doubtful, I thought about leaving.
Right.
I have the opportunity to grow just as she did.
And
just
plus,
as they did.
and plus the fact that even though we're not salespeople, but we have sales-like benefits with pay. So I'm so excited for those. I'm so excited for those. I cannot wait. And I will say one of the concerns I've been having recently with this new job is that I've been going to like Taylor. I feel like I'm annoying the fuck out of Emily.
I am asking Emily 1,000
So many
questions
fucking
a day.
questions. Yes, I'm like, I'm sorry,
And
Emily,
she's
but Taylor's
new
not
to be
here.
a manager too.
I know.
She's only been doing that. We are her third group. She's
Yeah.
been doing this for a month.
For
I'm
yeah.
like,
By the time like 2 years down the road, she's gonna be talking to the new trainees, be like, "So I can promise you will never be nearly as annoying as BC and Sam Assael from the spring class of 2022. I can promise."
The beautiful thing about that with the team that we have around us is ask questions.
Yeah.
You are encouraged to do that, and the more that you ask, like, all right, yesterday I had a moment. I think it's because I just didn't sleep well the night before. It's gotta be.
Fair enough.
But I had a moment of like, maybe this job isn't for me. After having left the industry I was in for the past 4 years, like, did I make a mistake? Is this the wrong move? But today I'm like, all right, better rested, well rested in general. However, with today, I remembered all the questions I had asked yesterday, the notes I took. I felt so much better.
Yeah.
I felt so much more prepared, equipped. Not like I'm an expert in this shit. Of course not.
Yeah.
But I felt so much more prepared to be like, even if I do have questions, like I tackled a couple LVPs and I felt really good.
Oh, when that goes green. Oh,
yes.
it feels so good. When the color goes green. Oh,
the adrenaline rush you get when it turns green. Like,
oh my God. And that's just like the actual, that's just the right side. When the left side goes green, it's like, oh my God. And now I know what Nicole was talking about.
It is marked.
It is done. It is done. And I have
done.
Mic drop.
That percentage goes off and you're like, I am close to meeting my quota. I never had that in my last job. I was in a call center environment, but it was all inbound calls. You take as many as you can. COVID flipped everything in the healthcare industry. Like when I took my job at, I'm not going to say their name, it was a pharmacy help desk. I worked for a healthcare agency. I took that job in 2018. What 2020 would present to that industry was unforeseen.
Oh yeah.
It was crazy. So like our volume picked up and I was having conversations that the content of those conversations changed by the day. Like, you know, what treatments and what testing and what vaccines are available in which places. It was completely different. All that we were told basically in terms of like statistics is don't take up too much time on calls. Just take as many as you can within an 8-hour span. Overtime was available too, but of course that was voluntary. So with what we're doing at Town Square, it's like, no, actually, you have a book of the same insert number of people that you're going to talk to. Like anyone who had called into my last job could be someone I've talked to 10 times or someone I've never spoken with.
Right.
So it was at random. Whereas here, it's like you have a book of business, you have an obligation to establish a rapport with them. I'm talking too quickly.
You're good.
Establish a rapport, build a relationship, and keep up with it.
Yeah.
Consistency. It's one thing to establish the relationship, but to maintain it and to make sure that they stay, because our maintenance of that relationship is not just between me and said client. It's them and Town Square.
Yeah.
In the event they cancel, that counts against me, as it should. Like, that's my responsibility to maintain. It's so different from what I was doing, but I needed that structure. I needed a push to be like, what I am doing is meaningful. What I did before was in a different way, and it didn't feel that way when I was working from home.
Sure, yeah. Man. The differences an environment can make, man.
You would be amazed. My lifestyle in the past month has just, oh my God. Like I'm talking a lot about it on air. To have a space to talk about it, it's like, thank God.
Yes.
I'm telling my friends and they were like, that's cool. I want a job where I work from home. You want a job where you work from home?
Bet.
For a little bit. And for some people, it works wonderfully.
Sure.
And for those people, if anything, there's like two parts that I want to present. There goes my water bottle cap, everybody.
Oh, get that ASMR in there. The little gulp.
I hate it when people do that. They go, are you a boomer? Get out of my face.
Yeah.
All right, 2 points about working from home.
Yes.
The first is that everything works until it doesn't.
Uh-huh.
I loved the first, I wouldn't say I loved it. It was in the thick of the pandemic. Nobody was particularly happy.
Sure, yeah.
In the first half of in any of 2020.
Yeah.
But I was satisfied with the idea of this is the height of luxury. I just get to hang out with my cats and I do whatever I want. I can go to the kitchen, make whatever I want. I can change clothes whenever I need to. Everything I needed was within my space. Also, lunch break. I don't need to dart home to get anything. I'm right there.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I grew tired of it so fast because I got so lonely, truly.
Yeah.
And in 2020, it was different. I didn't have the availability to just clock out and then go see people.
Sure.
The one thing we were permitted to do in 2020 was not see people. So certainly I wasn't. But when that became available, I got vaccinated. People around me got vaccinated. That opened up. I continued to work from home. I was so unrealistically lonely that I would go out, do things that I didn't necessarily feel compelled to do. It's like, do I want to sing karaoke tonight? Not really. But if it means seeing people, I'm about it. You stay out way too late. You spend too much money. It's not sustainable.
Nope.
Now, the second part of this is that what is stopping you from getting a remote job? There are so many remote positions available.
I know.
Apply to my previous company. They need people.
And I still get hit.
Those positions are around. Don't talk about it like it's something that is out of your reach.
Right. Literally set up an Indeed, and you'll never not get hit up by some recruiter for a fully remote job that pays really, really well, apparently.
Yeah. Also, the range with that is with remote jobs, you can get hired by a job in a different state.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I had offers in like Montana, Maryland, New Hampshire, places that I don't think I would ever move to, but it's remote, so it doesn't matter.
I was in the pot for
such a big range
Yeah.
of things that you can do.
It's
crazy.
I was in the pot for a podcast manager job over in California at a time. I didn't get it. I really wish I did. It was like Wondros or something like that.
You deserve it, BC. You deserve
Oh,
it.
that would have been so cool.
Damn it.
But hey,
One of
I'm
these-
here. I got my platforms that I'm building up, okay?
This is where you start.
In the future, baby.
It'll
in the
happen.
future.
It'll happen one day.
Man, but I think I'm very convinced that, and for the first time ever, that my true ambitions are to create a self-sustaining platform that would carry me into a dream career, which would involve me launching something of myself. But this is the first time where I'm like, you know what? Even if that takes a few more years, I'm okay with that. I'm actually comfortable here.
Nothing worth having comes easy.
Sure.
Truly. And
if you're a client of TSI, please keep that in mind.
Please, nothing
It takes
worth
a
having
little bit.
comes easy.
Exactly.
Trust us. We're the experts.
We're the experts.
God.
They don't call us specialists for nothing. Jesus. Well, I think we've definitely spoken quite well on.
We did. I delved into that way too much. Feel free.
Pretty hard.
This is your itinerary. I'm just living in it.
I'm down for that. So, I think it's time for the newest addition to the show, the newest part of the new format,
segments.
which is, of course, office gossip and submissions.
Yes.
Let's do this. So, this one, I think, will have some reminiscence to a recent TikTok video that I made that you commented on.
I fucking loved it.
So the title is Men Are Using the Women's Bathroom and the Women Can't Use It When They Need to. Oh my goodness, what is this? Okay. So the company that I work for has 25 people. We have 4 women and 21 men here. We have 3 bathrooms. Unisex, men's, women's, and another unisex bathroom. Okay, is there an issue there?
Right.
In total, there are 5 toilets. Okay. And 2 urinals for 21 men and 4 women, which more than meets OSHA's requirements. A few of the men use the women's bathroom on a daily basis. I know this because the 2 women that work out on the shop floor come into the office to complain about not being able to use the bathroom because there's a man in there. Not the direction I thought this was going to take. Anyway, another thing that women are complaining about is that the bathroom is always left a mess. Well, men, duh. Straight men.
Straight men. You said it, not me.
Not just water on the sink and paper towels on the floor around the trash can. I mean stuff left in the toilet, men, and on the seat. We have a cleaning company come in twice a week, but the other women in the office or I usually end up cleaning up after the men because we can't go the whole day with that mess in the bathroom. Fair enough. I'm a part of the management and I don't know how to handle this. So I've put up the signs in the bathroom doors differentiating the men's room and the women's room, but it hasn't helped. I have worked with these people for 20 years. I know who is doing it and I'm very frustrated about it. My office manager stood outside of the women's bathroom one day to confront the man who walked out. She should have done it in a private way, but she was angry and she called the guy out in front of 2 other people. Since then, it's gotten worse. I wish that she didn't do it like that. I want to handle this in the appropriate way. Straight up, this place is a little dysfunctional. We are owned by 2 brothers whose grandfather started the company and ran it like a typical 1930s, 1940s factory. And in a lot of ways, the company is still stuck in the past. Every single person that works here has been here for at least 15 years. And so we all have close relationships with each other, but I want this to be handled in a professional way and want to bring this place into the now. What can I do here?
Talking about living in the past.
Yes.
4 women and 21 men is a really gross ratio.
Yeah. It's like, dude.
Why?
It's like
that discrepancy.
Because now I want to know, what are the positions?
You gotta wonder,
why are only
all
4
the women secretaries?
Right.
Literally.
But I mean, if it's 1930s, 1940s, probably, if not male ladies.
Gotta be. They are assistants to people, males in said authoritative
in some
roles.
fashion or form.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no,
like,
living in the past, for sure. Also, 20 years is a long time to stay with a job.
Like most of them for
Truly.
15 years base minimum. That's a lot of commitment.
That is a good, significant fraction of your life.
Yes.
Like that's not even your professional life, but just
Your life in general.
Yeah.
Because we're not all promised that 100-year milestone.
No. Tomorrow was never promised for any of us.
Exactly. So like the
15 years is a big investment.
Like honestly.
And that's the minimum.
I mean, granted, so there are 5 bathrooms for all 21 people. You would think there'd be, there's 2 unisex bathrooms in a men's bathroom. I think 7 people a bathroom. There shouldn't be any reason for any guys to go into the women's bathroom.
Right.
Like, granted, I'm not going to lie. I saw this topic and I was like, oh, there's going to be like a trans bathroom issue. I'm so ready for it. I'm ready for it. No, but still, it's like 7 men to a bathroom. Why are you in the women's bathroom?
Right.
And why are you bringing your manness into the women's bathroom? Like, fine, you have to drop a deuce. Clean the frick up afterwards. It's not hard.
We're all adults, right?
We're all adults. Well,
expected to be.
Expected to be. Not everyone knows how to follow through with that particular assumption. Oh, man. Gotta love it. Or maybe not. We'll see what happens here.
We do. They don't.
It's true. I'm not working there. No way. I can't
never be our company.
The only person I could stand who happened to have been from the 20s was my great grandmother Nan. She was a factory worker girl during the war. Mm-hmm. She was in the napalm factories. Loved her to death. She passed away a couple of years ago, but that's about it. Anyone else from the 20s or 40s or 30s? Not a fan. Well, okay, grandparents, whatever. Anyway, moving on to the next story. Good luck, ladies. Definitely. Bellhop made me uncomfortable.
Who?
The bellhop. I work for a very large brand name hotel in corporate. I was staying at one of our new locations for a week as part of the launch crew. A bellhop and I were friendly at first, talking about our love for travel. But then he asked me out. I told him I was married, and he said he didn't mean it like that. He just wanted to be friends. After that, I felt a little uncomfortable and tried to avoid him. But he kept tracking me down. Even when I was working, he told me to come see him before I left so he could get my phone number. I checked out a day early since my work was done faster than expected, but didn't go see him. Later, I got a call from him asking why I'd left early. Someone at the front desk must have given him my phone number and told him that I had checked out.
No.
So that's my tale. Here's my question. Should I report this to a manager, and how much information can the front desk see about me? Could he have my address or insurance? I didn't want to get him in trouble, but giving out my phone number feels like crossing a line. Yeah.
As someone who has been a front desk clerk at a hotel, I can tell you, you are never supposed to do that.
No. And granted, as someone who's been a concierge recently, I know I can see that much information. I can see your phone number.
Yeah.
I can see, well, granted, I was in a high-style apartment, so you're in there somewhere. But yeah, I could see your phone number. I could see a lot of stuff as a concierge.
We, in our former positions, we're able to see that so that we can get in contact with you.
Right.
That information is supposed to go nowhere.
Right. Like, I've had plenty of moments back in that job where I had one tenant pissed off with another for due reasons, sure. But they're like, I want to call him. What's his number? Like, I cannot give you that number. No. But if you have this issue, management is literally 15 steps away.
Also, you know where he lives. Like, granted, it's awkward to approach somebody's front door. I
Right.
mean, so talking not so much a hotel, but like an apartment.
Sure.
You all are neighbors, right? Approach them, be an adult about it. But yeah, no, that information should never go anywhere outside of the staff who it belongs to. Also, your gut will never lie to you. If this person was talking about travel and you had an instant feeling like something is off about this, don't ignore it.
Yeah. Don't do it. Don't
Yeah, your
do
gut
it.
will never lie to you.
Next one. Can I get in trouble for taking some time off of work after finding a dead body? Let's jump into this one. So last Thursday while working, I found a dead body in a collection of cardboard that was brought to me in a compactor truck. One of my jobs is to process cardboard, which can be anywhere from 5,000 to 30,000 pounds a day, by feeding it into a huge industrial baler via a large conveyor belt using a skid loader. Say that right? Yes. At around 11 a.m. last Thursday, 911 was called. After giving statements to the police and answering all their questions, they said I was able to leave if I wanted to. The body was taken to wherever they took it, and all the mess was cleaned up by the next morning. Yesterday, I returned to work at the normal start time and tried to get back to business as usual. Ran cardboard until lunchtime, trying not to relive the situation in my head. After lunch, I just wanted to leave, so I did. Called off work today as well. My question is, can I get in trouble by my employer for taking some time off to mentally deal with this? So my first thought is, initially, no. Finding a dead body, that's not going to be a part of anyone's job description
That
unless
is
you're like a
traumatic.
unless you're a private investigator. You should not be anticipating that kind of thing, but welcome to Earth. So yeah, I think happening upon, and let's be honest, there is a trauma that occurs in us when we actually see something else like us lifeless.
Yes.
So that's never going to be easy to process for anybody. So yeah, I would say couple days, sure, but that being said, it does almost sound like you could be on a bit of a slippery slope with just kind of milking it. And that I wouldn't support. I mean, granted, I would just tell your boss straight up, hey, look, this happened. I don't know how to feel about this. Ask for just from the front X amount of days off, like 3 or 4. You sound like you're working on a factory. You probably have people who can cover you for a while.
Right.
But slippery slope, it kind of sounds like to me. Your thoughts?
As you said, seeing something that is akin to us, that is completely devoid of life, that is, well, trauma starts as shock.
Right.
You don't know what you're feeling.
Uh-huh.
It truly changes your brain chemistry. So to see a dead body unsuspectingly,
Yeah.
you're like, I don't have the capacity to focus on anything else.
Right.
Because of what happened. So if anything, it is a courtesy to your company to take time off.
Because I'm not going to be focusing.
No, I'm not going to be focusing on anything.
I'm
I
not-
might say something incriminating.
Yeah.
Because that's all I can think about.
Right. And like, first of all, with that, power to coroners and people who work at like funeral homes, because
You
I
have to be
could never.
completely desensitized. You
Could
have to
never.
have your mental attachment to life has to be like slim to none.
Oh my God, I could like.
They're like, well, I've seen this before.
Oh my gosh. Okay, moving on. God, wasn't prepared for that, honestly. All right, what am I doing wrong? I've applied to over 130 basic entry-level positions and have been rejected from 15, heard nothing back from the others. Story of my
130
life.
In the labor shortage?
Story of my life. Oh my God. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've applied to jobs that are listed as entry-level, but somehow, I don't know why the employers are like, oh, by the way, you still need to have 3 plus 5 years of experience for, like,
And
entry
preferably
level
a
or
college
not.
degree.
Oh my God. It's like
hate it.
entry level or not. This sounds more like mid to almost senior level. Help me out with this lack of
Anything
understanding.
beyond 6 months of experience is not entry level.
It's not. It's really not. And granted, I almost got, so before this job, I was in the queue for a great job at Duke Energy. Not their building though here in town at the Optimist Hall location for their innovation center.
That would be awesome.
I was gonna be like a video producer. That was the pot, and like, dude, I was in for this job, so excited, and like I was actually a little concerned because part of their interview process was a 2-hour long group interview.
That's a long
that
time
I took the day off for. But funny enough, I came out of it. I was pumped as fuck for this job, and I can. There have been a few times in interviews where I'm like, I could tell you, dead ass, I'm a shoo-in for this job. Felt that way for this job. Got passed over for the job. Got passed over, and why? Because, and I never heard of this before. During the interview process, they elevated the job. So where I came in as a candidate with enough experience to be that entry level,
the stakes became higher.
They elevated it to where what brought me in initially was no longer sufficient.
That's not fair.
It's not.
You can't
I was
do
so mad. So mad. And it was going to be starting off around 55K a year.
That's so
I was like, are you serious? Like, oh my God. Again, I say that still very much love where I am right now with Town Square, but come on. That was going to be a job.
It's still a devastating blow.
Like,
you're like, you told me I had all the qualifications. I put my time and energy into this 2-hour group interview.
And you brought me back
tell me, I think we're going to go with someone more qualified. What do you mean more qualified? Well, you were before and now you're not. And thank you, nobody, for telling me.
And not just the 2-hour interview. I got another interview after that.
What a waste of your time.
Like, it's like, oh my God.
Oh my God. I had that feeling with Town Square when they called me in for a third interview, and I was like, all right, I'm not going to be picky, but if you have me interview 3 times and then I don't get this,
yes,
what a monumental waste of my time.
And
my time matters too.
And that brings me to a TikTok I saw about somebody being like, look, there should be zero issue with anyone who's being reached out to for a job. Like if you're on Indeed, you'll get reached out to a lot.
A lot.
There should be no issue, and people take issue with this, where if someone hits you up for a job and they don't include the pay, where you shouldn't be able to ask, how much is the pay?
It's seen as taboo.
Yes.
We have been conditioned in society to believe that we should never talk about money. It's
right.
considered rude,
right?
Right? It's not.
But
the reason I'm asking, I'm not being a greedy, money-hungry pig. I want to make sure that I am not overqualified and underpaid.
And you need to be realistic.
Yes.
Like, what happens if I get through the 3 to 5 interviews, and you finally tell me, okay, it offers...
Oh, the base salary is $25K?
Yeah.
No.
It's like...
I'm not going to settle for that.
And even if I take it, what makes you think if there's like no development process post getting the job that I'm going to stick with it? Like, it's not to be greedy, as you said. It's like, I need to know whether or not...
Employers need us just as much as we need them.
Exactly. Someone needs to do your work for you. Exactly. Like, there should be zero issue.
You're going to be short-staffed, and you're going to be like, well, nobody wants to work anymore.
Yes.
It was never about people not wanting to work.
Right.
People are not willing to work for what doesn't serve them.
Exactly.
Nobody should have to work 2 full-time jobs.
There should be zero issue with me not wanting to waste my time or your time.
Exactly.
Because you're a recruiter, you're trying to decide whether or not you should put time into me.
A more qualified in terms with, their standards.
Yeah.
With the time that you're wasting on me, you could find someone more akin to what you want.
Who'll be down for that $25K a year.
Exactly.
It just happens stopping me. And if you could answer that one question from the get-go, you save us a lot of time.
So much time and so much energy.
Yes.
Truly.
And getting my hopes up too. Because, and especially like after they've interviewed
worse
you.
Than getting your hopes up and then it doesn't pull through.
Man, that job would have been so cool. But even not only that, but like having had done 3 to 5 interviews, and then they take like a month to get back to you. It's like, dude, my life is not waiting on hold for you to make a decision. Exactly. I got bills that come in like clockwork.
Yes. And hey, if it's any consolation, just because it's not now doesn't mean it's never.
Sure.
They could reach out to you and, I don't know, they could look at your LinkedIn, see you've worked at Town Square and put in, this, that, and third type qualifications and be like, we would like to have you. And then it's up to you to decide. And granted, this is an idealistic scenario I'm suggesting, but it would then be up to you to be like, all right, well, my life has moved on. I want to stay with my company. Or,
dude,
this really appeals to me still, and I would love to do this.
Dude, the number of like digital marketing managing jobs that Indeed's hitting me with now, that it wasn't
Because-
before I got this job. It's like, bro, no,
I've seen
sorry.
that too.
Town Square was smarter enough to get me when they had the chance, so you can wait in line. Thank you so much. But in regards to this person, someone did comment. We're not going to read through this resume, but he said, one, censor your personal information. That should be kind of, yeah. Add a bit more flair, indicate the types of, okay, you know what? Maybe I will read this. Like, what personal information is he like throwing off about? Oh, yeah. See, I wouldn't put a whole like paragraph about me in your resume. Granted, this is a pretty cool looking like formatted resume. It looks pretty cool to me.
Wait.
That's a resume. That's a pretty cool format.
No. BC, I don't think you understand. I think I know this person in real life.
Shut up.
Is his
This is going to be like one of the best things ever.
You blurred out his last name, and we will talk about this later, but I've seen a resume that presents this way. If it's the person I'm
Exactly.
thinking, then he lives in Charlotte.
Oh my
God. It could be. We'll talk about it
Was that
later.
the same first name?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my
he
God.
goes by Chris, but it says Christopher on the resume, which granted is a common American name. But the one I know is a photographer and videographer, and he wants a job.
Do you know what degree he has? Because it lists his degree here.
I know he went to college. I don't know what he majored in.
Oh my God, we'll find out. That'd be pretty funny. But yeah, but in regards to like the personal information, yeah, I mean, I have like an objection section on mine. Like it's 2 or 3 lines. I wouldn't put a whole dang paragraph. Like that's a lot, to be very honest.
It can be overkill. As I've gotten older, I've learned that the reason why employers stress brevity is because they just don't have the time to absorb it and decode what you're trying to say about yourself. You need to be powerful and precise, but short.
Yeah.
Truly.
We'll go into one more. These have been fun so far.
These have been so fun.
We got to find out
I needed
the one.
this.
We got to find out the one. All right, last one. Can I be forced to leave work early, unpaid, to attend a work event? Sure.
That is wage slavery.
Yeah, that's not cool.
No,
Hello,
you're being
I work
exploited.
in HR. My company organized a golf tournament. My CAO made me the organizer for my location. There are 4 other members besides myself who are all salaried employees. The time that worked best for them was at 4 p.m. I do not end my shift until 5 p.m., but I reached out to my supervisor and asked if I could reschedule the tournament at 4 p.m. Could I skip lunch that day to clock out early? She said that would be fine. Unfortunately, my AC went out and I needed to let the repairman into my apartment. So I asked this morning if I would be able to take my lunch and then go to the tournament at 5 so I could get all my hours in. There's that area. My supervisor approved this. I sent out a Teams message letting the other players know that I would be late and not to wait up. When the CAO saw this, she messaged me and let me know that I needed to work my schedule around attending on time. I told her that the workload allowed. I told her the workload allowed, but I wasn't sure how I would make up the time. She said I can either stay late on another day or take a shorter lunch. Can I really be forced to clock out and lose money just to attend this tournament after I had no choice in participating in the first place?
Any employer that suggests that situation and makes you feel guilty about questioning it
Yeah.
is sus.
Yes.
That is shady. No, don't trust it.
Don't do it. Sounds like a place where even if it pays the bills for now, try to make it so it's not paying your bills in a year. Move on. Not the place I would suggest putting too much root time into, for sure.
Exactly. Hey, we understand not everybody has the monetary foundation to just impulse quit a job and be like, I'm
Sure.
out, I'll find something in a couple weeks. Of course not. That's
Right.
not what we're suggesting. But that's like
That's not great. Yeah.
red flags 1 through 15. That's
See, my last job, I would say my last job, we did do golf tournaments, but they were during the day. So I was clocking that hour in, those hours in anyway.
You should be if it's affiliated with work and it's not optional, you should be expected to get paid for it. If it's an
Yes.
optional event, that's different. But if you're expected to be there and it's just not on company grounds, like it's not in the office building or, if
Right.
it's somewhere else, and because of that factor, they're like, no, you're not getting paid for this, but you have to be here to keep your job. No.
And that's why
That's exploitation.
And that's why a lot of millennials and Gen Zers are like, don't go out your way for your team because
Exactly.
they're not promising the payback for that.
Well, millennials are so entitled. Nobody wants to work anymore. Newsflash, no one wants to work in the first place.
Yes.
We don't want to, we are willing to work, but we're not willing to work for conditions
Right.
that are dissatisfying.
Exactly.
And
let's be
detrimental.
honest, considering the fact that 40, 50 years ago, half our current salary could pay for a whole house.
Yeah.
And nowadays,
Can we talk about how the market has changed.
to the point where I still have to think about whether I could actually relocate to an apartment. Let's not be testy about it, okay? Let's not. Sam, you've been awesome on this episode of the show.
I am so thankful
I'm
to be
so
here.
happy to have you here. I hate that I couldn't get on the internet to pull up my Morning Brew newsletter feeds because I did find one that was pretty interesting, but whatever. Your loss, Morning Brew. But hey, if you want to talk about a sponsorship, I'm still here. We'll talk about it later. But yeah, I'm going to definitely have you on again later. I got another one of our group coming in for another episode here very, very soon. In the meantime, I'll let you know in the description or wherever you're enjoying the show where you can follow Sam at, and we will talk to you later. Thank you.